All right.
We are
Mr.
back.
Producer, is your headphones, I guess they're not working. They didn't work when you tried to run.
He said there was some static working through them. They're the skull candies, I think. So they're...
All right, well.
As long as we don't hear it, we should be fine.
Well, we've taken a hiatus for like, is it 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
Was it 3 weeks? I know I was out 2 weeks.
2 weeks. I was out the week before. So.
Yeah. There you go.
Because I'm a working man.
October 5th was our last podcast. And it is now the 25th. So, yeah, 3 weeks.
All right,
and a lot has happened. The world has changed since we last had a podcast.
Oh, hugely, man. But before we jump into that, we want to thank our producer for showing up. We moved the podcast a different day. And anyway, so Dudes Like Us, I'm Sean.
I'm Paul.
And I am Jeff.
And welcome. We have a couple guests here. We don't know if they're going to talk or not, but they are dudettes, and they want to be a dudette like us. And if you want to introduce yourself, just go for it.
I'm Ann.
I'm Sue.
There you go.
All right.
They want to create their own podcast, so they're here observing professionals.
And Sue.
The
very
best of the best.
American, very macaroni and cheese names. I mean, very classic cliche. It's like see Jane run with Ann and Sue, you know?
Yeah, so they first wanted to just watch and see the setup and stuff, but we said, if you're going to do this, you got to be in here.
Head first.
So, head first. There you
I
go.
guess we need to practice right away.
There
So
you
jump
go.
all in.
It's just having a conversation, right? No one is listening right now except us. So we're not live or anything. So
Yep. So Dudes Like Us, we started about 3-4 years ago. The premise was just to talk about everyday life that dudes like us go to, and dudettes, doesn't really matter, just normal thresholds in life. Kids growing up, how we grew up, toys that we played with, songs that we enjoy.
movies.
We
dip into politics.
We do. We talk about politics a lot because dudes like us out there are affected from the current politics that are going on. Doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on, it all sucks right now. So it's frustrating.
It's on our minds a lot, so it's natural we talk about it.
Another perspective of the Dudes Like Us podcast that we introduce to the folks out there are our bourbons. So we introduce a bourbon on the first half, and we introduce a bourbon on the second half. And we don't ask for, it'd be nice if we got some sort of promotional, what, a swag that they can send us? Like,
merch.
Merch,
But we'd have a lot if every one of those distilleries out there sent us something.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing this.
But I'll tell you, one of the coolest things that I enjoy about Dudes Like Us, besides the podcast, which is it is fun, it is therapeutic for us because we get out there and we talk and we get it off our chest, and I really get it off the chest. In fact, like Jeff said, is super true. Half the shit I say is deleted. No, but when we get through the bourbons, at the end of the bottle's life, we dump the remainder into what they call an infinity bottle.
Right.
And the infinity bottle we talk about once in a blue moon, but some of those Dudes Like Us listeners out there that are regular listeners know exactly what we're referring to. And we got the bottle is 2/3 full. It's probably got about,
it looks beautiful,
close to 30 different great tasting bourbons are all included in there, roughly anywhere from 1 to 5 ounces per bottle.
So when we get to the end of a bottle that we've sampled, like once or twice, or maybe 3 times, it's not enough to go around 3 more times. So we take that remainder and dump it in the jug.
Right.
And the jug is the infinity bottle. So
and each jug is a
gallon.
gallon. So we almost have a full gallon of infinity
and every once in a
bottle.
while we sample it, and it's amazing.
It changes every time you put something new in there. So
I bet.
it's really, really good.
Who gets to keep the jug at their house?
It's here.
It's here.
It doesn't leave here, and I think we
doesn't get any.
We have a camera on it 24/7.
Right. No one touches
On
it.
our system.
No, we do. Well, no, they would know. I think they mark it
There we go.
Right.
every time.
Yeah, we have to. Anyway,
Yeah.
So yeah,
my kids are not in the house anymore, so I think that's why the bourbons are here and stuff like that. So no one's drinking it.
Hey, all good.
All right. Did you find? All right. We'll hit this in a minute.
Yes.
Oh, he was our producer was trying to pull it up, and it is
So
extremely
unique.
proprietary bottle, so they don't have a whole lot of information on it.
Very unique.
Right.
Cool.
Right.
So it's going to require you probably reading the back. So I hope your eyesight
Gosh,
is.
it's like no.
We'll do that later.
That's just a gold blur.
No.
All right,
It's very exciting.
Why has it been so long? What happened? Let's see. You went somewhere.
Well, you were out the first week, I thought, right?
I was working, but then you went on a couple trips.
I went.
Work related.
I had work-related trip. I was out in the South Carolina areas for a week, and then I went to visit my dad out by Lake Tahoe.
Did you sightsee at all out in Carolinas, or was it like work,
no,
go to the airport,
it
go
was
home?
8 to 5:30 every single day, and then dinner.
Really?
Like
there
that.
wasn't like a team building thing where you go to the beach?
No.
Well, you have crappy management then.
No.
Crappy
They got
leaders.
to hang out at a bar.
Well, yeah, we'd go out to a nice dinner and have a drink or two, and then
Anyone get blown up?
no.
You didn't get
Although
blown
we-
up?
That's not a good idea at a work function.
Well, Jeff,
Generally,
he'll go to the back of the kitchen and pull a big old box and lay cardboard out, and start breakdancing for everybody. This is
Right.
his third bourbon.
I don't think that
Right.
happens.
No, but we did get to enjoy because one of the team members came up from Mexico City, and she brought an outstanding bottle of tequila.
Oh, nice.
It's about $200 here in the States.
For the bottle?
Yes.
Wow.
And-
Is that like 1842 or something like that?
No, it wasn't 1842. It was the other guy who was there says it's even better than 1842. It's Jose Cuervo Reserve, I think. I sent you guys a picture of it.
It's one of those aged in a.
Yeah,
In a bourbon barrel?
It's extremely aged and añejo.
Oh. I was meant to say 1942. I think is what it is.
No, it's Jose Cuervo Reserva de la Familia.
Oh, wow. You sound authentic.
Yeah, it was.
Does not taste
that's
like
very
tequila
good.
at all.
It was like a cognac.
That's what's interesting. These aged tequilas are the furthest thing from what you think tequila tastes
I mean,
like.
if you're sitting there and you're tasting it, you may be able to pick up a little hint of that tequila flavor, but it was sweet butterscotch caramels, nothing like a bourbon,
Right.
but
Well, it's because it's got the
it was
the
outstanding.
agave plant in there. It's got that distinct flavor. I really enjoy tequilas, but if you've been
They impact you
intoxicated
different.
on tequila, they're a little bit different. They kind of they pull
It's
on
something
some
you
strings
never touch again.
No, I won't get.
We
drunk
all
on
had
it.
that, right? I mean, back in college, it was like, oh my God, I had Mad Dog, and I could never ever. If
Well,
I
back in
smell
college, it
if
was
I smell
usually
it,
it was just gut rot.
oh yeah, it was something
Yeah.
horrible.
Yukon Jack.
Montezuma's, Yukon Jack, yeah.
Yeah, we've all made that mistake.
Wild
of
turkey.
something that we just will never touch again, right?
But Wild Turkey is actually a good bourbon.
Yeah.
We've
Well, I
done,
mean,
so.
but back
It
then
is.
it was.
Yeah.
But back then it was like it was like early times. It was like the lowest of low. 101. Wow, that's a shot. And it was so painful. Now
It'll
I'm like,
scratch.
bitch, please. It is so lightweight.
Whatever. All right. Well, what's been some of the major things that have happened? Let's see.
Well, I mean, right out of the gate, I mean, we've got a huge event happening overseas in Israel with the attack on the Gaza Strip. You know,
Yeah.
that's
That has like possibly global implications. I've been watching this stuff where it's like, they always say World War III. How could World War III start, right? I mean, what would have to happen? Who would have to do this and who would have to do that? Man, I tell you what, they had a guest on the Tucker show, Tucker Carlson.
Carl Tuckerson.
Yeah, and it was some colonel, and I had no idea who he was, but he started laying out what has to happen, and it was scary. It was scary how
Colonel Douglas McGregor.
Yes, and I don't know. It was we don't have to go into all of that, but because it's kind of depressing. But I think these terrorists knew exactly what they were doing. I think they knew exactly how Israel was going to respond, and they were hoping that it causes so much of an outrage among Muslim countries in the world that for the first time, Sunni and Shia Muslims put aside their differences and unite in a cause.
I don't know if that's going to happen, though.
If that happens,
I don't know if that's going to happen, though.
bad things.
Because the Palestinian people, as I listen to this stuff, there are Muslim companies who don't want the Palestinian people.
You're right.
Like Egypt.
Egypt doesn't want them. Jordan doesn't want them. Lebanon doesn't want them.
That's because nobody wants to touch the toxicity of Hamas. I mean, and the radical.
Well, Hamas has not been the leader for forever.
No, they haven't, but they've been around.
They're quote unquote elected now.
Well,
leader, but
they've got Dominion voting machines there.
Hanging
Probably.
chads.
hanging chads, right?
That's how they got in.
Right.
I know it.
So, you have that whole thing, but then I also think, well, maybe they don't want that, and they want the Palestinian people to be there in conflict just to create the conflict.
100%. That's exactly right. Even the son of the Hamas founder said they couldn't care less about the Palestinian people. Their sole goal is to form the caliphate, right? Is to bring the Muslim empire back to its grandiose existence, and they can't do that unless the Muslim world unites. And so they keep the Palestinian people in this hotbed of
state of flux,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Well,
absolutely.
it's transferring over to the United States. I mean, they've got these representations throughout the United States.
Yeah, what's up with all these colleges, man? All these colleges, all these people are pro.
Well, there are folks out there that are Muslims that are outright saying that they want to take over the United States.
Right.
And they want to have Muslim religion in every household. And we will, quote unquote.
Right.
You know, they're gonna force it. So it's just
that's their long game.
It's just not cool.
That's their long game. But still these college uprisings or whatever you call them, ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, and they're not all Muslim. I mean, these are the woke.
Well, this is
the
what
woke
I don't,
younger crowd.
This is what I don't
that
understand is I think these are the same people who think men can be women, right?
Right. The whole
it's the
transgender
same.
thing.
It's the same group of folks who do this, and I don't understand the immediate attachment to Hamas. Why support that? Didn't you see what they did?
So they would say they don't support Hamas. They are supporting Palestine and the Palestinians. And Israel brought this on themselves because they occupied them and brutalized them. What else do they have? What choice do they have? This is their only way that they can fight back.
They don't occupy them. They said, "Here's Gaza. This is where you live."
Absolutely.
They're not occupied.
No, they are not.
Here's your country, or whatever you want to call it, and rule yourself. And they elected Hamas to rule them. And this is what you get.
They did. I know it. It's crazy. Anyway,
but I don't understand. The even in the Hollywood, although they're starting to take this back because they're starting to get shit, is the pro-Palestine / Hamas support from Hollywood, from these professors. The professors aren't really backing down.
No.
But I don't understand I don't know if it's a knee-jerk reaction or what the reasoning is to be anti-Semitic / anti-Jew at this point.
I know it. And it's an interesting dynamic because you're seeing the Jewish celebrities and Jewish sports people. I mean, they're the ones like calling them out and saying, why are you being pro-Palestinian on this deal? Did you see what Hamas did, right?
Right.
I mean, and a lot of these people are liberal. They're liberal Jewish people fighting liberal. Right. It's a very interesting dynamic.
They're eating themselves. They're eating themselves. And I look back at like UPenn is an exceptionally egregious one,
right?
Who has said some really bad things to professors there, and I'm thinking, what about? And a lot of Jewish students go to these schools.
Sure.
That entire Jewish community, how do they feel when they're walking to class and they see this going on?
They've got to be furious.
Well, I'd be petrified as well.
Oh yeah, not safe. Yeah,
not safe, right? And I know there's a lot of big time donors starting to pool funds.
Oh yeah, that's when it's going to hurt.
That's when the colleges are going to go.
I mean, wasn't it Harvard? Harvard lost some major.
Harvard did.
Well, there's going to take the sleeping giant needs to stand up, and the Christian population need to stand up, and they need to pull a Bud Light. And look,
pull a Bud Light.
Hey, we got Woody. What is his name? Woody Carlson. Is that his name?
Who?
The white man can't jump guy.
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson is that his name? He had a meme put out where he's talking about, hey, look, the only way you're going to be able to make change is that you have to stop using the people that you want to change. If there's someone out there that's doing something like Bud Light and you don't like their promotion, you don't like their style, don't buy their products. Hit them where it hurts. The money's where it hurts.
Correct.
So that's that.
And I think if these big time donors continue to withhold their money, their endowments,
it's going to change in a hurry.
You'll see some changes. It may take a little time.
There needs to be a huge overload, a huge change on the whole dynamics of the college institutions. Period. I mean, just the money being spent in there. Football is fantastic. I get it, but you know what? Why do I need to drop an additional $15,000 to $20,000 for my kid to go to school there to support the football curriculum? so they can build that $30 million stadium, $100 million stadium. I'm sorry.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
Heck,
know.
Prosper
I don't
just put in their budget a $95 million stadium. Prosper.
Correct, Prosper.
I just,
unbelievable.
it's irresponsible to spend that money like that. It's just like there's a trend that they got it's the trend of dropping $130 billion and sending it over to Ukraine.
You know what's stupid though is these school districts. There's budgets and money that you can assign, like that $95 million. They can't spend that on teachers' raises or anything.
Right.
It's been earmarked for that. It can only be spent for that. Now it's been voted on and everything,
right.
But
and everybody gets all up in arms anyway because they want
because you're like, well,
blah blah blah.
We voted on it. This $95 million I can't use for teachers. I can't use for anything else. It's for that by law. I have to use it for that.
Right. So I get
now. I don't have to spend $95.
It's an option. It's obnoxious, and I think that we need to kick them where it hurts. And I think that's one of the programs when if you want a football college, go to a football college. I think when you start coming up with some of these colleges that focus on what we need. I don't think we need all this other.
The reason why they spend all that money on football and sports in general is because that's what brings money into the school.
Well,
period.
You know what?
Well,
education
and you're
is
not
the
going to get
main
around
reason
that.
For the schools.
I get it, but they're gonna cater to what brings in money.
I don't know if tuition goes to fund the football team because I watched the Johnny Manziel documentary.
Yeah.
And that year that he did good, they had donations of $700 million.
Right.
Which paid for that stadium.
Yeah. No. Tuition.
That's on top of tuition.
Yeah, tuition doesn't pay for the sports. Sports pays for sports, and sports pays for other things.
Correct.
But tuition doesn't pay for anything.
Yeah, tuition it pays for your new buildings,
right?
Your teacher salaries,
right?
In administration, it doesn't pay for sports,
right? No, I mean, like I said, I mean they're not stupid. They know that if they get a nice, fancy, shiny stadium, and they get a great coach who makes $5 million a year, and they can recruit and build up a football program.
You've got these
it brings in money.
Dumbass teachers. I'm sorry, in the schools that are pushing dumbass agendas.
Oh, you're talking about like liberal and radical.
Oh my
professors.
God! I mean, like
yeah,
right
they're
here,
a little too crazy.
Right here in Allen.
I can tell you right now, it's not.
She's elementary school teacher here in Allen ISD, and I just want to try to bring more awareness for furries like myself. Now, I have the most students in my class that have actually transitioned from a human being to a cat. Now, I know I'm a rat, but that's more because I'm a Chuck E. Cheese.
I think he was kidding.
This is all satire, making fun of the whole.
I think he completely was making fun of everybody that is doing this kind of stuff.
Correct.
Thank God. Because
it was over the top.
But why is he wasting our time?
That's a better question.
Well, I think he's trying to make a statement for one thing. That whole gender thing is a stupid movement.
But that
you need to have litter boxes in the classrooms.
But that furry
so
thing,
they can defecate.
No, but that furry thing is for real.
Well, the furries are.
There are kids that are insisting on being treated like cats.
No way.
Yes. It's a real thing.
Yes.
And so they are demanding that a bowl of water be put on their desk so that they can lap out of it. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
And it's, you know what it is? It's this, we live in this desperate generation of attention. Like attention to like a crazy unhealthy level, right?
It's a fetish if you ask me.
It's mental illness.
Yeah, you can call it that too.
No, it's absolute mental illness, and I'll tell you what. Joe Rogan mentioned something on his podcast. He had something going on with his daughter, where she wanted to be one of these little furry things. She wanted to identify as a wolf, and he was like, "All right, let's go camping." So he took her out. He says, "All right, you're going to spend the night out here. You're a wolf, right?
You're a wolf.
You're a wolf.
Now go hunt for your food."
He left her out there. I mean, he's got what? 100,000 acres. I mean, he's whatever. But he left her out there. Fucking 6 hours later, she calls him up. I'm done.
Please,
So-
6 hours? I would imagine 30 minutes later.
Whatever. But my point by bringing that up is that he put her in that scenario and she changed it. She went home and she got all her furry shit and threw it out. I'm not a wolf anymore.
Well, you know what? Everybody needs a wake-up call if they have mental illness, man. So, I don't know.
Yeah, if you're a wolf, live out here, shit in the woods, pee in the woods, and go catch your food and eat it raw.
Yeah.
If
you do that,
I think
I'll
I'm
support
part
you.
wolf.
Yeah, I'll absolutely support somebody
If you
that
want to
does
live
that.
like that, you're not in the house anymore.
Yeah, they're outside on a chain.
You don't have clothes. You're nude.
Oh, now it's a party.
Now the podcast got
I'm
real.
in.
That'd be kind of weird, though. I don't know how old his daughter is, but that'd be kind of weird.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I will share with you because I'm about to drink the whole God blessing thing. Jeff, you were talking about your travels.
Correct.
Went to a work function, and I didn't hear your response about how drunk you got out there. You were
I
saying
did not. I had some drinks. I did not get drunk.
Oh.
Right. So the tequila was outstanding. There's a rooftop bar that was very nice.
Oh, nice. What was the weather like out there?
That was perfect.
Mm.
It was
You
perfect.
got the ocean blowing in. You got the
It's not
60
on
degrees.
Charlotte's not on the
Is
ocean.
it like through your hair, just kind of
No.
wavy?
Charlotte's in
He's not Fabio.
from your chest.
Or Fabio? Is it Fabio?
I was talking about
Fabio?
his chest hair.
Yeah, because my hair is so.
Who's the one that's on a horse with the long hair and he's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm wonderful.
Yeah,
Look at
that's
me."
Fabio.
He had a wife beater
It
on.
is
He was
Fabio.
out there.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a wife beater on, does
No,
he?
he had a wife beater on. His hair was all hanging out.
Oh, gross.
Yes.
Never
No. So
mind.
the trip was good. So the work trip was good, and then 3 days later, I turn around and I fly out to Lake Tahoe region to visit my dad. Right. Then I was out there for a week.
Yeah, you were sending all these scenic. Oh, look at the mountains in the background.
look at
where I
me.
am.
I'm so
I'm in heaven right
Check
now.
out this bottle of Old Forrester.
Yes.
I
And
bought
there's
two
a
secretly. I drank one.
and there's in the little town that he lives in. There's a liquor store / wine store, and I go in. I went there last time. I didn't even know the place existed. He's been there for 15 years, and I went in there and I saw that, and he only had one left. And anyway, the bourbon is, what is it, Sean?
Old Forester single barrel strength, Nevada Strong 2020.
Wow.
This is a 63.90 proof. Alcohol content, 127.8 proof.
Yeah, nice.
Quite
This is a solid bourbon.
Yeah.
It is.
I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I was going to slam it and do another secret pour
No.
without you guys knowing, but
No, you aren't.
what?
Jeez.
That's not allowed.
Nah.
Yeah. He didn't like that answer. But anyway, I go in there and it's not a big store. It's like an old house that he's converted over to a little shop. And
Is that the sandwich place we went to?
No.
Oh, it was a different place.
That was a different place. And they had that, and he had some McHenry 10 years.
McKenna.
McKenna 10 year.
Yeah.
He wanted $100 for that, and I was like,
Oh my God!
Pass.
For McKenna tenure?
yeah, the McKenna 10 year.
Lord.
And
What
I
is it, like
kinda-
55 is what we pay for it.
it was
Is it?
$40.
Oh, yeah.
when we
40,
bought
there
it.
we go.
I turned around and
Well-
looked at him. He's like, he just kind of shrugged.
You do the bitch please thing?
Yeah, I kind of gave him that look. And
Did,
this
hold on,
old
hold on, hold on.
Forester
Hold on.
was
Was the look with your neck going side
Yeah,
to
you
with
side?
the
did.
neck going
You're
sideways.
like, oh, brother, please. That's why we don't do video, ladies.
Right. So he had that. He also had an Elijah Craig 18.
Oh yeah.
Was it Elijah Craig 18 or a Knob Creek
I bet
18?
that's oaky as hell.
Well, he even said, because I asked him, he wanted like $250 or something like that for it. And I was like, he's like, yeah. He goes, the 15 year is much, much better. So he even kind of,
So he's tasted it.
yeah, he said, well, it's a new bottle. He's had it before.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, 18 years. That'd be a long.
You know what? Maybe dudes like us need to open up a bourbon store.
Yeah.
We could sell bourbon. Then when we get the specialty bourbons that come in, we don't have to sell it. We just keep it.
There we
Right.
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get on that, Sean. Start our bourbon store.
Oh, we'll have a special little allocated area for our special stuff.
Right. So this bottle, I think, normally is around $80 to $90. He wanted $100 for it, so it wasn't marked up ridiculous.
I get it.
Super solid. I'm
If
enjoying
it's
the
hard
hell
to
out
find,
of it.
If it's hard
Yeah.
to find, I get why they
Yeah.
overcharge for it.
I've never seen
not
it.
dumb.
I've never seen it here locally, or anywhere. Right.
So we don't. I mean, it's so rare, in fact, that Mr. Producer couldn't find it on the internet and couldn't. It usually has like a little thing about the nose and the finish and the this and the that, and it's ridiculous description of, oh, you feel butterscotch in the beginning and then you almond blah 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 blah.
Toasted baklava.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And they're like, we taste none of that. We taste
Right.
bourbon. So,
Right.
Anyway.
No, but this is solid. There's a little bit of alcohol at the front, right? You could feel a little twinge on the
Yeah,
tongue.
little ethanol-y.
And then traditional bourbon flavors, I think, right? The caramels, the butterscotches, stuff like that.
It's
Outstanding. It's got a little sweetness to it, too.
I would
highly recommend this.
I would give it a 7.8.
I think it's around the eight and a quarter, maybe, right around the Elijah Craig barrel proofs, I think. It's very similar to those.
What is the pinwheel,
Pinhook?
Pinhook?
Yeah, that pinhook. It doesn't. This is good. It's not 8.5 like I gave pinhook. It's definitely over 7. I'd throw this a solid 8.
Yeah.
Solid 8. This is a fantastic bottle of bourbon. It was a huge score.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I was very excited when I saw that.
You never know because when we see these bottles, you get excited. You're kind of like, oh my god, we found a unicorn, but then we don't have any idea what it tastes like until we get back.
Right.
That's why I buy 2.
Have we ever had a unicorn where we're like, this is awful?
Oh yeah, you're Williamsburg.
No. We've had ones that
the blood oath. We had a blood oath that comes out once a year, and it's semi hard to find. And when we tasted it, we were very meh on that.
Right. Yeah, it's rare that. I mean, when I say unicorn, it's one that we know it's hard to find, and then we were disappointed. I mean, but there are plenty of bourbons
I would say
it's there every week, and we go ahead and try it, and it's not that great.
Blanton's really, that is a difficult bourbon to get. It's desirable, but in my opinion, it's not fantastic.
It's only 80 proof.
It's 90, I believe.
Yeah, 80,
it's a middle of the
proof,
road. It's a middle of the road bourbon, if you ask me. But it's very, very hard to find.
That's because it's been so hyped.
Because John Wick drinks it.
John Wick.
John
well, and it's
Wick.
that whole, they collect the little figurines.
Correct.
The little Monopoly.
They do have higher proof versions of Blanton's, which is even harder to find.
Oh yeah, forget that. Single barrel Blanton's.
Yeah,
Good luck.
They got several different versions.
Yeah.
So
right,
when you were out in the God bless it, where were you? Utah.
No, Tahoe.
Tahoe.
Oh, you were actually in Lake Tahoe area?
We went over there. I wanted to get him over there. It had been since 2016 that he's been over there.
Did you jump in the old lake?
No, I did not. It would have been pretty chilly.
You should have brought your mask,
goggles, and dig up a sock at the bottom of a lake like you did.
I thought it was a cucumber fish. It was low, and I swam down there. I'm going to get that. I know it's like 10 feet down, but fuck it, I'm getting it. I don't know what it is. I touched it, and I was like,
yeah, it's a sock.
Oh, dude,
he brought it up and looked at it. It was a tube sock.
It was gross.
I'm seeing a trend because when you went out to your mystery island with your metal detector, you're always looking for the unicorn under the ground or under the water.
Yeah,
I
enjoy
what was it
the
picture?
hunt.
You said the guy that found the sword.
He found the big Roman sword.
And it's all like it had like stuff all stuck to it.
I want to find some hidden booty.
Right. Well, you did a sock. Some guy's sock.
Yeah, but it was like a very important person's sock.
Yeah, you know what? It could have been. It could have been
Abraham Lincoln
encrusted sock.
Abraham Lincoln.
It could have been down there for 100 years.
At least.
Who knows?
It had a Walmart brand on there.
All right, well that rules out.
It had a bunch of nasty stuff on there. Anyways, I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah, but we did go. I don't know if you remember the area we went to where they had the. It was a flat hike, and it was kind of over a swampy area, bog type thing, and then it overlooked a river, and then the salmon were still running. So there's a type of salmon that runs, I guess, from Lake Tahoe up this river, and they're
all
small.
jumping. They're all jumping out of the
No,
water.
they were
Did you
all
bring out your billy club and smack them on the jumping out of the water?
All these
No.
bears were all just jumping out of their mouths.
There
and stuff.
were a bunch of signs out that be warned, this is bear season.
Absolutely, they stand there and the fish jump into their mouth. They don't
do
anything.
Do you have your bottle of spray, bear spray?
I turned around and asked my dad, I was like, did you bring your bear spray? He's like, no, I probably should have. So we didn't see any. So that was good. But the
That
fish,
is good. Yeah.
the fish were already red, and they were at the end of their life, so they were not very active. They were in the water, just kind of swimming, waiting to die. They've already spawned, laid their eggs, and they were just
How depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the purpose of their whole life is to swim upstream and to lay some eggs, and then that's it.
They just die, and there was dead ones on the side. Most of them were still alive, but
I wonder if the older ones are tastier than the younger ones.
After they turn red, I have no idea.
So here's the.
I don't think so.
I'll give you some of the dynamic. I'll give you some of my perspective, based on my experience working in some of the seafood restaurants. Like there was a 1995, 96, 7, somewhere in there. I worked at Humperdinck's in Las Colinas. All right, Humperdinck's was like the Guinness Book of World Records tallest bar, and it was a high-end seafood restaurant. And the Dallas Cowboys used to venture there back in that time because they were winning a lot back then. And they had a contract set up for this Alaskan salmon through a shipping company called Bruce Gore. And Bruce Gore Shipping Company. So he would send the Copper River salmon to our restaurant, huge Copper River salmon, rich in color. And one of the things I learned, I don't know what the deal is. Maybe I had too much coffee. I didn't do drugs back then, so I was like, I don't know what the fuck about it. I retained this information about it. So the most flavorful fish that you get when it's salmon is you got to catch them before the end of their trip. Because the color is rich. The Copper River salmon, they eat, they full of all the food, and then they start the marathon. Boom, right up the river. So the further they get along the river, the more nutrients they lose. So you want to eat them right at the beginning. You want to crack them, smack them, and pull them out. But if you wait towards the end, I think they lose some of that luster.
Well, they do. I think because they don't eat. There comes a point where they don't eat anymore.
Yeah,
so they start consuming themselves. And what's interesting, and I just looked, it's the Kokanee salmon. And they're small. They're probably a foot long. What's interesting, and it not just happens to them, but the salmon have like beaks on them. And they start to curve, if you ever noticed that.
Oh, like an Architeuthis?
Yeah, so the bottom one comes up, and the beak of these salmons curve as they see. Like here, there's a fresh one right there.
Interesting.
And as they turn red, the bottom one gets really long. You see it right there?
Look at that. It's kind of phallic.
So that's what it turns into.
I wouldn't eat that thing.
Yeah,
I would.
So their whole face distorts.
A little Tabasco.
Their body kind of distorts and turns red like that.
Some sriracha sauce.
And when they turn like this, that's near the end.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
So the plural of salmon is salmons? With an S, or is it plural like deers?
The salmine.
No.
This is not.
Seriously, what is the
front
hold
door?
on, what is the plural
Salmons.
of
Salmons.
salmon?
No. Fucking idiots.
Tell us, Sue, what is the plural of salmon? Do you know?
Survey says.
I have no idea, and seeing the picture of those red salmon, I never want to eat it again.
Well, you don't eat them.
Probably the best salmon.
Yes. Plural of salmon
Hey, let us hear
I
it.
thought so.
Let's hear
plural
it.
of salmon.
is word hippo.
Salmon.
Plural form of salmon is salmon.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Here, play.
Yeah, that's what
Do
she
the sound
said.
bite. Does it work?
Salmon. Salmon. Salmon.
Salmon.
Salmon.
Salmon.
I bugged my
Salmon.
wife. I'll go to a restaurant. I was like, I'm gonna get me some salmon tonight.
Salmon.
She's like, it's not salmon.
Yeah. And I hate you.
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute. That's my wife.
Right.
I bet
Right.
you there's a lot of people that mispronounce that.
Salmon.
Well, I'm glad you made it back safe. I'm super happy you got to see your dad. Like most dudes like us out there, our parents are getting older.
They are.
And, you never know when you're going to see somebody again.
Right.
And we had a dear, dear friend that just passed away.
Oh, yeah.
And day before yesterday, it's crazy. In our neighborhood,
It was
a
Monday.
pillar.
It was Monday, right?
Yes. So this gentleman, I'll say it. Fuck it. Tom Hermes. Tom Hermes just passed away, and he was big into the church.
He's a good guy.
He was a fantastic guy. He was a teacher. He retired from being a teacher, and he worked for the state of Kansas, proofing websites for them, for the state of Kansas. Kind of crazy gig. So basically they would send him links. Hey, does everything work? Check it out. And that's what he did. So he would dip. And another reason why I tell people out there, don't fucking dip.
Right.
It's cancerous. It's stupid. So he would dip, and, he loved it. It was this thing that he got cancer. And it started off in his ear.
Well, ate half his face away. Not half.
Ultimately, it did.
but a big chunk of it.
Ultimately, it did. And, look, I feel bad for obviously his experience because it was it's got to suck. Getting cancer sucks, period.
Right.
But, he got some chemo. He got a bunch of it ripped out, surgery, dropped a lot of money. And, what's your life? You want, spare no expense. I want to live. But he got mad because it fucking came back. And he was like, fuck it. And he gave up. He gave up. And that was 4 years ago. 5 years ago.
So he's been fighting it for that long.
So yeah, and he literally I tried he and I used to hang out a lot. I mean, all the time. We would every day we'd go do something because I was a contractor at that time. So I would pick him up and he would go with me some of my jobs and he would work with me on it and I'd pay him. And so we hung out a lot. And then when I started working for the company I currently work for, that all stopped. And it's not like I didn't want to hang out with him. I had a fucking real job, man. I couldn't.
Circumstances, yeah.
Right.
So we kind of had that separation, and dudes like us out there, you gotta take advantage of those friends out there and recognize them and talk with them. And he ultimately ended up passing away. Of all things, he couldn't eat solid food.
Oh man!
And he tried eating, from what I understood, some potatoes or something like that, and it didn't go out quite right. It didn't go down quite right. What the fuck, man? And he ended up choking, and he got asphyxiated.
And he's by himself, right?
No, he had someone there.
Oh,
he had someone there that
he literally choked to death.
I believe so.
Wow.
I'm not 100% that that's the truth. I'm 99% that's the truth because someone told me that was there. Said that's what happened.
Awful.
But I don't know if that's privileged information or not. But nonetheless, man, it's really sad because it's another game in life when you're dealing with insurances. It crosses both sides of the aisle. When you have to lean on your insurance to take care of stuff. It's all about money. If you want to live, you got to pay.
Oh yeah,
Right.
That's it. True. That's the bottom line. You want to get that. You need this fixed. You got to pay. You just got to pay. And if you don't have money, fuck it. Get in the back of the line.
There are. I think there. I don't know if it's a benefit, but it is a benefit. But I look at the military folks, right?
Yeah.
Like your dad, Sean, my wife's dad, go to the vet, and it's quote unquote free healthcare, right? And
at the VA.
At the VA, right? Now you're dealing with the VA, right? And you have to deal with their timeline and their schedules and
it's not the
bullshit you have to go through.
It's
but
not the top quality, but
right, if you need
free.
surgery, you're gonna get surgery.
Yeah,
and it's not going to cost you anything. Like for instance, my brother-in-law, who's retired colonel from the Air Force, he just yesterday morning had his hip replaced, and I guess at the vet, free, whole 9 yards,
Yeah,
but he paid for that with his life in the military, right?
You know what? And I totally agree with that. As a matter of fact, I'm thankful it's free for all vets. I wish it were better quality.
Correct. It's just a
Look,
big
I
bureaucracy.
got to disagree with that.
Right.
I think that you're mislabeling the VA clinic because my dad, he's over 80.
Oh, meaning it's better quality than I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah, because my dad, there are some areas of concern.
Sure.
Looking at the big picture, there are areas of concern. But I think most of it, my dad has not complained because he will complain.
Right.
When he's got an ailment, he goes and gets it fixed.
Yeah.
Sure.
And he's on top of shit. He's I've never heard him complain about the quality of the doctors there because he calls them out.
Good.
I mean, I guess if you're passive, and,
the only thing I've heard is the bureaucracy and the red tape. And I have no experience. I've just seen the news stories, right?
Yeah.
So, someone's, the VA bureaucracy and the red tape of someone having to see a doctor, to get the medication, whatever the 9 yards.
Right. They're fighting some illness, and
Right.
it took
And
8 months to see them.
Right. And maybe there's better VAs than others.
I think that's true, too.
Right.
that's true too. I don't know. Based on what my dad said in his experience, because that was a very specific question I asked him about the VA and his experience with it. He hasn't had a real big problem. He thinks that they're idiots sometimes.
Right.
Excuse me. And they'll, because they, you go to a general practitioner and you got to all right, let's size up what's going on and let's put you in the right direction and boom, send you off. Some of those guys are stupid. And based on what my dad said, it was just like, why are you sending me here? And it's like, I don't know. And everyone's looking at each other like they're freaking idiots. Some of that's going on. But as far as like the quality, when you actually go in there for a procedure, they got top-notch doctors that are doing their shit.
That's good. They've earned it.
Yeah.
They definitely have earned it, in my opinion.
It's the, like Jeff said, it's the red tape. It's I don't know if it's the bureaucracy of getting a procedure done and the authority extended to getting the procedure done.
I think it's anything that is run by the government is poorly run.
Correct.
Oh, amen.
I think that's what it is.
That's the way you...
I have to say I agree with that totally.
Yeah. No, I mean, seriously. I mean, any problem they try to solve, they go about it in a very inefficient, bloated, ineffective way.
Right.
Tell you what, let's do a quick hard 90 here. We've got some guests here that we got Ann and Sue, and they're sitting in.
Yeah, they're observing.
They're observing on
but
our
longer.
podcast.
They're going to be active members
interested
now.
in starting something new. And I'm going to put you on the spot for a second to see if you can't just walk us through your business plan of what the podcast is going to be about. Ish.
Oh, great. Thanks, Ann.
Well, Ann, introduce yourself before Sue starts, because you need to start getting used to talking. I mean, now's the time.
Introduce yourself.
Yeah, if you guys are going to start a podcast, you've got to be assertive.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm Ann.
I'm a Sagittarius. I like margaritas.
Leo. But our topic is so vastly different than your topic.
Vastly different. But it's a great noble cause. What you
It
guys
is.
Yeah,
do.
and that's kind of the spirit of what I want you to talk about.
So Sue and I met through grief. We've both lost a child, both in college, both due to tragic, unforeseen circumstances. And our experience through that has bonded us as lifetime companions.
That's great.
Our experience is the first year, lots of support, lots of understanding, lots of lift, love, and just complete support. Second year, they're still there. Third year, they start to wane off. Fourth and on, you're supposed to be healed. You're supposed to be on your feet. You're supposed to rebound to what you once were. They want the old you back. There is limited support and
Who's
understanding. Almost everyone.
Yeah, that's
family
what
especially.
Family, friends.
Family
Family,
especially.
right.
They're
Yeah,
just
the
they're
support
completely and I get it from their perspective and the fact that they want us the way we were.
Right.
Right.
Well, I also think that people think you go through the stages of grief, and we should be through those stages. They don't understand that grief is actually a journey, a lifetime journey, and it doesn't go away. My daughter was killed 4 years ago, and it doesn't get better. I'm not over it. I'm not going to be over it. And
Right.
I think one of the issues that Ann and I talk about all the time is there's so much support for people in the first couple years of grief, but then there's nothing.
Right.
And
Interesting.
I think
Yep.
society or people think we should be over it, and we're not. And there's a big gap. There's a missing market for people in our situation that we still are on this journey, but there's no support out there.
Yeah, so you feel left behind, basically.
Correct.
Everybody else has moved on. They want things to be normal again.
Right. It'd be much easier for them if things were back to the way they were.
Sure.
It'd be much easier for us. You don't expect an amputee that has no artificial limb to be able to use both hands if they've lost a hand.
Right.
But they expect us to still be able to pick up, go on, and be what we once were.
Sure.
So is this an effort to create sort of a podcast of group therapy, so to speak, to talk about your experiences?
I think it's twofold, actually, because I think, one, society in general could learn a lot from our podcast and learn about grief, that it doesn't end in your 5 grief steps, and it is a journey, it does go on, and this is how we feel in our grief. But I also think it's for moms who are in year 5, year 6, year 7, and there is no support. And what am I feeling? Is that normal? Do other parents feel that way? And
Sure.
talk about those
Right.
kind of issues that, okay, I'm not alone out there in my thoughts.
Right.
There are other people out there that feel the same way I do.
And you're not like, you don't have to have this feeling like you're taking too long to heal, or everybody's expecting you to be over this by now. What's wrong with me? Why am I not over this?
Right.
And that's normal to not be over that.
Correct.
And you want to get that message out that, you know what, it's okay. It takes as long as it takes.
Exactly.
And that you guys are, you might be voices of support.
Exactly. That's what we're hoping.
But it's
right.
also for the family. It's
Yes.
for the extended family, the extended friendships. It's for all of them to listen and go,
And
oh,
understand.
so it's not just my daughter, my sister, my niece who's not over this. This is normal. This is what's going on. It's very easy to be able to judge someone unless you've walked in their shoes.
Sure.
And we all do it. Don't misunderstand. I was that pious person that thought this will never happen to me. This is not me. This is not my situation. And why aren't they over said thing? Why are they dwelling? Why are they where they're at?
Sure.
I think it's one of those you don't know. You've experienced it, unfortunately, so now you know, and you want to help those who were in your shoes. You're like, that's not me. That's never going to happen. So you want them to understand as well.
Correct.
Right.
Exactly.
The relatability.
Right.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, and that's not. I mean, you guys are courageous because that's not easy to talk about, right?
No,
but it's so needed.
It's so needed, and that's what
drives you.
That's exactly why we're moving forward with this, because it's a market that is not out there right now, and it needs to be out there.
Sure. Now, how? I mean, there's got to be some support organizations that you do know of that you could pitch to with a podcast, or how is it too loosely? Not a lot of organizations out there, or what do you think?
I think there are a ton of organizations out there, but again, it's for the first 2 to 3 years. And there's
Right.
nothing beyond that. There's nothing. People just tend to think you should be moved on or over it, or
Right.
so there isn't anything past the first couple years.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
And unfortunately, the organizations that we've experienced, it's all about the tragedy of how your child's died.
Mm-hmm.
And so you go to these support groups and it's, oh, thank God that's not me. Well, at least that wasn't my circumstance. At least this, at least that. And it's their way of coping what they're going through, which I fully understand, but it's also, it's a competitive thing rather
Sure.
than
Oh,
just
yeah.
understanding, which is just horrible.
well,
So
and
it's not guided necessarily by a therapist or by somebody that's guiding you through it.
And I
Right.
agree with you, but I think the real issue is that grief beyond the second year is different, and it looks different, it smells different, tastes different, and there's nothing out there for those people. So
Yeah.
Right.
we're trying to use a podcast to fill that gap for those parents that are in year 3, 4,
Yeah.
5, 6.
Ongoing care.
Correct.
I think it's
great.
like Paul says, very noble. That's a great idea because, I'm kind of like where you were. It's like I haven't experienced that. I never thought about that before. What's it like 5 years after?
You gotta empty. There's a void.
Right.
Holidays come by. You got Christmas stockings you're pulling out of the attic, and you're putting them on the mantle, and
The reminders never go away.
yeah, you
Still,
Never.
still can't do it.
No.
Still have never put up a Christmas stocking since his death.
it's tough. I mean,
Not
I
once.
couldn't fathom losing one of my kids. I couldn't fathom.
And
losing one of
that's
my
why
kids.
we're unrelatable. And I get it.
Yep.
I'm not faulting anybody that we're unrelatable, but
No.
that's also why people don't want to talk about it, listen to it, hear about it, because it's like, that's too painful. It's too real.
They also don't. I'm just projecting here. They probably also don't know how to solve it,
Right.
and so they.
But there's actually no solve.
Right, but nothing frustrates humans more than having a problem that they can't solve,
Agreed.
and so they feel like probably as a support team, they want to help you solve it,
Correct.
and it's not solvable. It
Correct.
isn't, and so they get frustrated. I mean, I'm just.
No, you're
you
exactly
probably,
right.
You probably have run into. I mean, I would imagine it's different flavors of how different people support and how they handle it and stuff like that. But I would imagine some people are like, okay, I can't do any more than I've done to try to solve this problem. So I'm just going to withdraw.
Right.
I think that's huge, Paul. Yes, I think a lot of people feel that way. And what people don't understand is just be with us where we're at.
Sure.
I mean, every day is different for us. There are days that I'm fine. I laugh. I'm happy. I'm having a great day. And there
Sure.
are days that something happens and I'm bawling my eyes out in my room. So every day is different, and meet us where we're at during that day or during that time.
Right.
So
Right.
Yeah.
Is this
And meanwhile,
something-
everybody else's lives go on.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's hard to watch
And
too.
you're stuck. You're spinning.
Because we're stuck. Yep.
Right. I get
So is there? So I've got 2 questions. First of all, does it affect your relationship with your spouse?
100% for me. Yes.
We've grown closer. It was fight or flight mode, And so we fought together. We've grown as close as we possibly could. We survived the worst of hell, and we made it through the other side. But that is a conscious decision, and it's a fight. It's my husband lost 2 of his brothers, both in their teens. And the one piece of advice that his father gave us was never blame each other. Never blame. And it's very easy to look at myself and blame myself. Like, well, why didn't I do this?
Yeah.
Why did I allow him to go to that university?
Right.
He had choices. Surely if he would have gone to a different university, which he had scholarships to, this would not have happened.
Yep.
If he were closer.
You second guess everything.
Correct. And it's the way, it's a coping, it's a processing of the grief and the death and things like that. So for us, we're fortunate, but it's a very, very tough thing.
Yeah, because everybody deals with grief differently.
Correct.
Right? And men in general, men in general, we just stuff it down.
Yeah, we try to lock it away.
Yeah, we lock it away, pretend like it doesn't exist, and move on, and that
different.
probably doesn't.
Women and men are different the way they
Very
handle.
different.
Believe it or not.
100%.
I mean, we are
100%.
different the way we think, and guys are able
and
to
deal with things.
Yeah, we handle things differently.
One of the grief processes that we went through was my therapist had said he needs to tell his story 3 times to 3 different parties, to 3 different family members, 3 different people that are entrusted.
Mm-hmm.
And it was extremely eye-opening to hear his story.
Sure. How it impacted him.
No, just the days, the events, the whatever.
Oh, I see.
Because I was the one on the phone with the ER doctor. I was the one, he's he's booking the flight, and all of a sudden they're like, no, you don't get it. You both need to be here now. And I'm like,
otherwise you'll feel like you're shouldering all of it.
well, no, I thought he was going to wake up from the coma. I thought that there was no chance. I didn't realize, because they cannot proclaim someone brain dead for 72 hours.
Oh, I see.
I thought, okay, he's super smart. He's going to lose some brain cells. He's going to get reamed out by me when he wakes up. Don't misunderstand. But all is going to be well, because that has been our life. All has always been well.
Right.
So it's the denial. And so to hear his perspective that first, the phone call in the middle of the morning, 5 a.m, he thought it was about my mom, because my mom had been ill. And he's like, wait, it's our son? And then just the processing of all of the things that he went through. Vastly different than my experience. Same room, same child, same everything. Different perspectives.
Sure.
They wanted him to sign the death certificate. He was physically incapable and collapsed and couldn't get off the hospital floor in the hallway. And they're like, I'm sorry, it's been hours. Do you mind signing it? I'm like, give me the damn thing here.
Right.
Just let us, So different experiences, same child, but that was his way. And it forced him to address his feelings because he had to share what he felt.
Yep.
Versus stuff.
Yeah,
which
men
you're right.
don't do that very
Right.
well.
Right.
That is absolutely stunning.
We could not relate. No way. So.
And we don't want you to.
Right.
But nor can we be fixed,
Right.
because there's not a fix. The biggest thing is, and it's a very graphic picture that's so wonderful, is you can go to the Pooh and Piglet one or wherever they're sitting in the puddle, and they're like, how, are you feeling blue? How can I help you? Or whatever. And it's like, just sit with me.
Right.
I won't always be in this big, deep ditch. I can't live in a ditch because there's no food, there's no water, there's no sunlight.
Sure.
Be with me. I will crawl out of it. Never going to be the same person.
Right.
But be with me and understand where I'm at, because I don't understand where I'm at.
Yeah.
And you talk about all over the place. I could be happy in 1 minute and the very next minute yelling, and it could be for nothing.
Sure.
It depends on the stage of grief and where you're at, how many days, how many months, how many years.
Are your parents still alive?
My father is.
Your mother passed away?
She passed 6 months and 2 days after my son.
So do you have the same, what I'm trying to drive at is that the loss of your mother versus the loss of your son, they're different?
Completely. You are supposed to outlive your parents.
Right.
Yep.
That was an expected passing, if you will. It's not unknown, not unexpected, not out of order.
Right. Still painful, but still.
But my mom got married. My mom had children. My mom had a career. My mom had a house. My son died as a junior in college at the height of his life.
Formulating. So to move the podcast and start labeling this, are you guys going to talk about your experiences? Are you going to have your guests that have similar experiences a way for them to vent and share
Absolutely.
to the community, so that people can say, all right, well, this is the reality. This is everybody's reality.
Normalizing it.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not being afraid to talk about the things that it could be anything from intimacy. I mean, I truly remember the first time trying to be intimate with my husband going, okay, if my son's dead, he's all knowing, he's in heaven, he sees all, we're not doing that in front
Lord
of him.
have mercy.
That's a
What are
female's,
you saying?
that is a female's perspective.
Great. So I'm banging. My grandparents are watching.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's no.
Welcome to my thoughts. Welcome to my thoughts.
We have several hundreds of
They're
of
just
ancestors.
staring at you,
Yeah.
Paul.
They're all
just,
they're all
They've got
around the bed.
scorecards. They've got
Yeah.
scorecards.
And they're like, he's doing
Oh,
everything
hell.
wrong.
No,
He's doing it all
They look
wrong.
at Paul. They're like,
red card, Paul. Doing it wrong.
Poor
Yeah.
Shelley. What's she doing?
Paul, get your ass a little higher, please. A little
but
higher.
these are the bizarre
Put some
things
oomph in
that
it. What's
you
going
think.
on over
That's
there?
the wrong hole. Come on.
Come on. Wow, this podcast. Yeah, thank you. We have a red card.
I'll
That's
red
a
card
great-
myself
Yes.
on that one, yes.
Yes.
All right. Well, you know.
Okay, what was your second question? There's nothing off limits. I'd rather talk about it all and have it known.
So, what was the first question?
It was, how did it affect our relationship with our spouse?
The second one was the comparison. So it was, did it affect your relationship? And then the second one was the comparison, the variance between losing a loved one like a parent versus a child. And yes, you nailed it. You basically said, you gave birth to that thing.
It's
right.
It's
Right.
what could have been.
Well, right, exactly. And I'm on a daily basis, I tell my daughter how sorry I am that she only made it for 19 years, that she has missed so many experiences out of life. And that's a whole nother part of grief, is feeling bad that she didn't get to live longer. She didn't get to get married. She didn't get to have children of her own.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other a part of grief that it needs to be talked about as well. So.
Right.
Sure.
The what could have been aspect
There comes a point where you got to start retraining your brain to work through this stuff.
Absolutely.
So I'm assuming you're going to have those training exercises. I don't even know how the hell you would do that.
I don't know.
Well, there's
I
such a
don't
thing
Don't think
called-
about it.
there's-
Don't think about it. Don't think about it. How crazy is that? And look, I'm gonna go off on a different. My wife has agoraphobia. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. That's the kind of stuff I'm kind of correlating to. I try to get her to not think about things. That is crazy.
No.
And I couldn't imagine telling you guys not to think about that, because I kind of, even thinking about losing my son over there, I would fucking go apeshit. I just, again,
You can't.
unrelatable.
My daughter is on my mind every day, all day, and she's not on the earth, but I think about her all the time.
But
So-
instead of not thinking about it, you think of what you are grateful that you did
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
I had
So
the 20 years with him. I had the experience.
Yeah.
I had,
That's
and I've told Sue this many times, if I had his life in a nutshell, it's a flippin' fabulous life. He traveled most of the world. He was happy. He went out on the high. He never knew the pain that we're inflicted upon. Not that he did that to us, but that we're going through because of their death. He had an incredible life.
Right.
And so if I can focus on the positives of what I do have, of the memories I have, of what I do have currently, whether it's I don't lack for food, I don't lack for shelter, I don't lack for much.
Yeah.
I miss that. I miss that relationship, things like that. But at some point in time, people that have grieved for longer have said, it doesn't help you. It doesn't help you to focus on how much pain you're in. You never
Right.
come out of it going, I feel so good that I've focused on that. So you pull yourself out quicker and quicker,
Yeah.
but you can't be pulled out. You have to pull yourself.
Yeah, and it's all about creating a new you.
Right.
The old you is gone, so you're learning life all over again. And
And you want it to be a happy new you, like
Yeah.
somebody
You
who
want it
enjoys life.
So
Yes.
I'm gonna
Can have
compare this to
fun.
my wife's issues, which is completely different, and I apologize for even remotely sounding condescending comparing this. But when she would have some of her panic attacks because of her stuff that she's got going on, it was about reprogramming your brain.
Right.
So when you get the stimuli of you thinking about your child passing, I compared it to my wife saying, if when you get this stimuli, you need to trigger yourself to change directions and think about something else. Is that part of what you guys are being coached on how to handle it?
So,
Well,
go ahead.
I can tell you, you cannot live without that because you need distractions constantly to get through the pain. Because a lot of times, even though I had a great memories with my daughter, it's very painful that she's not with me. So when I start to think about her and I'm not ready to be in that grieving situation, I need to distract myself to move on, to move forward. Otherwise, it would be very difficult.
So that's kind of what I'm driving at. Moving on part is I think that I think maybe you don't want to let go.
No, you can't.
You
Can you let go of
can't.
your child? Can you never talk to your child again for the rest
Right.
of their life?
You
Look,
can't.
Again, I'm on the outside,
Right.
Yeah.
and I'm just posing these things
Right.
because you've got these movies. You got you
Mhm.
got Tom Cruise when he loses Goose and he goes out to the edge of the
Right.
the ship and he's got his dog tags and he throws them and he's like, oh, I gotta let go of this. That's kind of what I'm driving at. There comes a point where you got to make an emotional stand for yourself so that you can survive.
And that's the process of learning your new self, is how do you survive now with a dead child?
Right.
That's a whole
Bless.
process, and that it doesn't happen in a couple of years. That's
No.
the journey we're on. It's a
Right.
long journey to figure out your life now.
So where you're at
To
today
rebuild.
in
Yeah.
10 years will be something different,
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
right? So do you have other children?
I do. Yes.
How has that impacted your relationship with them? Has it?
I think for me, I'm more scared that they're gonna die also.
Are you more
I'm-
protective? We're not letting them do things?
They're young adults, so I don't have the
have
ability
the-
to do that. But yes, I'm terrified now when they go out because I know now that you
Right.
can die,
Oh,
and
sure.
I'm terrified that they will die. So yes,
It's an extra level of worry.
correct,
An incredible extra level of worry. I mean,
correct.
again,
That's
my
tough.
condolences to all those folks out there that lose people that are close to them, especially their own children. It's just nobody can fathom. Nobody can go. I mean, it's just hats off to you. If there's anything we can do to help with this, I'd like to. I mean, I kind of feel bad because we're sitting here drinking, and
That's life. You should
Yeah,
you
it
should
is
live
life.
life. We should be around life. We want to be around happiness and joy, and we want to.
yeah. But there's honestly, Sue, when you show up at some of these events, I kind of purposely I feel like I tone it down a little bit because I'm kind of like, I don't want her to think that this is just a crazy, even though we're fucking idiots, But and we
Sure.
are.
We are.
I want to be so respectful to you, because I get it, and we're not that. It just we are not those people that are going to jump in a car and drive like that. It's just everyone's got a story. So I'm excited about you guys creating a platform where people can share their story and create a group. And I think we can do. Even if you want to use this studio, you can.
Yeah,
So-
I think your podcast is drastically different than ours. You're
Yep.
I think trying to help people where we're just you see what we're doing.
Well, you're
right? So-
relating. You're relating to people.
Well,
there's a audience for everything.
Yes.
There
Right.
absolutely is.
I think what we try to do with our podcast is provide escapism, right? You guys have heard of escapism, right?
Yes.
That's where
We actually live in escapism.
Yeah, we do.
Right,
We're
right.
the
So-
founders.
we have
So-
172 episodes. You can get lost in those. So.
Yeah, so I mean, if somebody's had a crappy day, they're working like crazy. They can listen to our podcast and they can just shake their heads at how these three guys are totally stupid, have no idea what they're talking about. But we're funny on occasion, and we're sometimes saying hot topics, hot sports opinions about things, and they can talk to the radio or whatever they're listening to and go, no, I don't think so. You know what I mean? It's escapism. It's to think
Absolutely.
about something different than what you're normally mired down in.
Well, it's like what we like
So,
to do in the evening. My wife and I will sit down and watch TV, just
total escapism.
blank out,
That's
Oh, yeah.
right. That's
and
right.
then all of a sudden they start throwing politics and other shows, and it pulls you back in. So
Yep. So one thing, I think you guys might have a challenge with, at least just me trying to think about how you structure your podcast. I mean, so what you'll have to think about. It has to be very structured because you want them to take away something if it's a help type of thing. Ours is just idiocracy and laugh. You want to take away things.
I think one thing you'll need to do is we go for about an hour and 10 minutes. I would probably limit yours to nothing over half an hour.
Agreed.
Right.
And be very targeted.
Right.
Yes. We have topics that we have already listed that we want to discuss.
Perfect.
So
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I think a podcast where it's that pinpointed. I think a good half hour on a topic or two or whatever it is.
We're a lot more intense. Let's just
That's
call
what
it
I
what
mean.
it is. It's
The
very,
intensity
very
of it,
intense.
but that's
as well. I mean, could you
you're-
listen
it's
to an
almost
hour
like,
and 10 minutes? Right.
No, you're almost holding
No.
your breath even
Yes.
talking about it.
Right.
So it's like,
Yeah, the Mr. Producer says y'all are already ahead of these.
Yeah. You guys are like, oh my God, can
Thank
we
you.
go now?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, cool. Anyway, we're excited for you, and we'll support you however however we can in terms of getting you set up and answer questions about stuff.
really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you very much. We appreciate that a lot.
Sure.
So with that being said, we've got more topics to talk about. We're going to talk about how much time we have, Mr. Producer. 7 minutes.
7 minutes. Yeah.
Well, we could talk about Madonna.
guys have-
Marana. Want
You
to talk
guys
about
have had to
Madonna?
suffer through the whole podcast, or the first part of it.
You made it.
It's
So-
been fun.
All right, well, okay,
Informative.
so for
So-
the next 7 minutes, you guys have to actually engage in what we're talking about. We're going to talk about Madonna. Did I hear that right?
Madonna.
Well, first of all, how old is Madonna?
She's in her 60s,
I
mid
thought
60s.
she was in
I
her
believe.
70s.
And she's
No.
dressing
No,
like a
60s.
17-year-old, I think, right?
Well, I think
But props to her. She looks great.
No,
I mean,
she
let's
doesn't.
just
I don't know about the
for
looks.
for the
great.
age.
no. Look at her. That
Like right there? Yeah.
that no.
Oh, she's 65.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
plastic surgery.
Yeah.
She has got some crazy shit going on.
Somewhere in there is real skin.
Yeah.
She was
I mean,
a
look
beautiful
at her.
woman
She-
back in the day.
She looks like a fucking grapefruit that's been pumpkinized.
She's very stretched.
Lots of fillers.
You know, it's the sad
It's
part
sad.
about that. We see that so often when aging women, aging men too, right? There's men and women, and why can't they just be comfortable in their skin and not try to reclaim the glory of Hollywood when they were at their peak? And I don't understand.
She's
that.
got these butt implants. Have you ever seen the pictures of
No.
her butt?
I
Seriously?
I don't want to
Yes.
see those.
Oh, it's like she's wearing a chair,
Oh my gosh.
like these
Wow.
cushions that are on. Like, whatever. I mean, I just want to hear her sing. I don't care about all the.
She's still touring, is she not?
She just
She's
started
just
another
had a
tour.
So I'd be
You
curious
know,
if
it's
she's got
her
the voice.
farewell tour.
So pull up that one where it had the timeline. Scroll down. It
Oh.
had a different years. Keep going right there.
Okay, here we go. 82, 85, 96.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, look at
What's
that.
happening?
Do we have any audio on that?
That's the Madonna OnlyFans.
Oh, that's a video.
Wow.
So 64. Look at that.
Seriously.
No one even commented on that. I thought it was funny.
Only.
All right. It's 82, 85, 96, 2016, and 2020.
So basically, almost every.
I mean,
Well,
she's
not
cute.
really, 10
She's just
years.
an idiot.
She's not cute anymore. She's. I don't know what she's done to her face.
Well, she had
She was cute.
like 15,000 Bangladesh boy foreskins injected in her face.
No,
is
that's
what
the
it was.
thing.
That
That's
is a real thing.
That, you know what? We thought he was crazy.
Sandra Bullock.
That's
Yeah.
apparently a real thing.
Yeah.
But
She-
we don't have to talk about it. It's gross.
No. Let's
What
open
are
this
we
can of worms.
injecting?
Let's open
What
this.
are we
Look,
injecting?
Bangladeshi boys foreskin.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yes.
It's a
but
real thing.
Not necessarily
Wow.
Bangladesh, but just mostly foreign children's foreskins.
What does that do for one's body?
Evidently, it's supposed to
Anti-aging or
it's-
something.
It's anti.
Inject it, not even just rubbing them on or something like
a restoration. It's restoration. It's a way of mitigating the cellular decay, I guess. I don't know. They just inject themselves when they're
All
thinking.
right, here we go.
It was Sandra Bullock, and the oddest thing it was
it's
Ellen.
stem cells that they're
Ellen-
pulling from
Yeah,
foreskin.
the
That's totally
foreskin
different.
tissue is collected during circumcision, and the stem cells and the growth factors present in the tissue are extracted and processed into a cream and shot all over the face topically.
Oh God, really?
What?
So Ellen
What?
DeGeneres called out Sandra Bullock on her show, and
She
forced her to say
did.
it.
Wow.
She did. See if you can pull up the Sandra Bullock. What is that bitch's name?
Okay.
Ellen DeGeneres.
So, okay,
Ellen.
hold on.
Sandra and
we have to
Ellen.
be real here.
And facial.
So what these celebrities are doing are buying exceptionally expensive creams from somebody that told them, "Oh, you got to use this for your face. It's great." They probably don't even know what's in it. And if they do,
Sandra Bullock does.
If they're told what's in it, which is stem cells from foreskins, they're going to be
She
like,
didn't say stem
"Oh,
cells.
okay."
She said it was chunky foreskin.
Ellen.
Oh God.
I don't know.
She didn't say chunky, but
Okay, but I
Sandra
didn't find
Bullock-
any of you arguing when it was semen. I'm just gonna say.
well, that's natural.
Yeah,
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
totally natural, and that is good for the skin.
Yeah. And
See?
Generally, women's skin, not men's skin.
Oh, okay.
godly.
Yeah. No, I don't use.
Godly.
I don't use that. No. But women
All right,
should.
well, no, but Sandra Bullock and Ellen, we want to pull up the
There it
the
is.
interview. There it
Penis
is.
Ooh, this
facial.
podcast got weird.
All right, let's see if we can pull up. I don't know if we have sound though.
All right, well, there she is sitting with Ellen DeGeneres. She's getting very uncomfortable and blushing, and obviously she's talking about foreskins on her face.
She does look great, though.
She does. I got to
She
give her
does.
that.
Can't argue with that, right?
No, you can't. So,
The title of this is Sandra Bullock got a penis facial.
Yeah.
oh, come on.
Jeez.
That's a bit much. But that got people to watch. There you
It
go.
got Sean to watch because he found it.
Well, I
There
mean,
we
look, this was an
go.
interview. First of all, I really think Sandra Bullock was super attractive. I think she's
I
a
agree.
rock star in
agree.
my opinion. But that changed after I saw this interview because I'm kind of like, how shallow can you be to have to go through those types of those lengths?
It's just a cream that their specialty skin doctor gave to them.
So you're supporting this.
I am. I think foreskins should be. Okay, I'm not going to finish that sentence. Anyway, you know what's the sadder part of this again is the whole chasing. What is it? Chasing the
Youth.
the fountain of youth. Thank you.
Fountain of
Exactly
youth.
what I was looking for.
Well, honestly, to put a different spin on it, I think if you're a Hollywood actress, especially someone like Sandra Bullock, that you have pressure to look young. You have
You do.
pressure to look fantastic. Like,
Otherwise, they're not going to put
Right.
you in the next Speed 4.
correct.
Well, you know what?
Can you imagine all the pressure she lives under to look
Yeah.
young and beautiful? and-
we've had
And
that
look what
discussion.
she's up against, right?
Well,
20-year-olds that are.
we've
you
had
know.
that discussion, and actually, one of her last movies, she looked terrible. She was older, no makeup. She was an ex-prisoner, and she looked terrible.
wow.
Oh, in a role that was meant to
Yeah,
be.
it was just she didn't look young, she didn't look hot or anything like that, and I don't think she had any prosthetics or anything. It was just, I'm sure that she had some makeup on to make her look
Well,
a little
good for
bit.
her. I mean, she's playing a role, and she's.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you got here?
A piece of skin that came from a young person far,
boy.
far away, and they somehow figured out how to extract.
It's foreskin from a Korean baby.
Korean.
That's what it is.
Wow.
Yeah, and she was called out.
It's just stem cells.
whatever.
You're,
know what?
you're legitimizing it.
Okay, yeah, I
Paul,
apologize.
do you see
So what do
some
you
sort
want them
of-
to do with the foreskin later? I mean, are they supposed to save it and preserve it? I mean, they're not
Throw it away.
they're not using it for anything, so they're just extracting the stem
Now, if you want to
cells.
like,
Lord.
if you want to like
Really?
heal
Is that
paralysis
the way
or
you wanna
something
roll
like
with this?
that,
That's the way I'm going to
I
roll.
take a dump
it-
every
it-
morning. You want to try to?
If there was something to make me look youthful in your dump, there's a chance that it could be sold. That's all I'm going to say. There's a chance there's a market for it.
well, I mean, it's no different than what do you call it?
The umbilical
I
cord.
don't
Thank
even
you.
want to.
The umbilical cord blood.
There
yeah.
you go. There you go.
well, people also eat the placenta.
Oh yeah, that's a whole lot of.
Well, I mean,
What the
that
fuck
that
is going
has,
on here?
Well, that has been a practice for like hundreds and hundreds of years because it is incredibly nutritious for the mother who just gave birth.
To
So
eat herself?
You put that like
to
on a
eat the
nacho
placenta,
chip.
yes, it's like supposedly
That's a
like,
part of her.
Oh God,
she's not eating herself.
Well, sure it is. That came out of her.
Oh my God!
Maybe
It was attached to her.
Wow.
Maybe mix it in a nice fettuccine Alfredo. Sprinkle it on there.
Juliana.
Oh, forget this. Yeah.
Well, spritz a little bit.
Okay.
Pizza or pate.
Oh.
Anyway, back to Madonna.
Back. Well, hold on. Let's talk about Travis Kelce and
Maybe
and
we'll
Taylor
do
Swift.
that. We'll do that on our second.
That's
I'll
for
have
the
to.
second half.
Wow.
That's the music. Where
All
we get,
kinds of stuff.
we
Look,
get yanked off the stage.
It's a little convoluted here, but you know what? I enjoyed the podcast. It was a great one. We got the second half that's about to pop open. We got a brand new bottle of bourbon we're going to be bringing in, and we got lined up. We got a whole list of shit we never even talked about.
Yeah, we didn't get to any of that.
Which is pretty typical.
Thank you, Mr. Producer. Thank you, our guests, Sue.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
I don't know if this is squashing your dreams of a podcast or making you more excited about a podcast, but I hope you guys do it, and I hope it reaches a lot of people.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dudes Like Us, I am Sean.
I'm Paul.
And I am Jeff.
And
I'm Ann.
And Sue.
There you
Adios.
go.
all right.